Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. So I'm going to be wrapping up all the books that I read in February. One of them is no longer here, and I might as well just start with that one because I just don't physically own it anymore, but that was Heartstopper Volume 4. You guys know that I adored this book. I talked about it a little bit in some of my previous videos, but Marcus gave this to me for Valentine's Day, and then we figured out that it was like the wrong format compared to the rest of them. I guess we have the UK versions of the rest of the series, and this one was like an American version. So the difference is that the UK versions are black and white, and the American version is like black and green. It's like a weird like color tinge on the pages. And also the spines don't match up. For some reason, the American versions have like the little head icon. It's either on the top or the bottom, but like it's the opposite of the UK. So we're going to return that one and get a UK version just so they all match on the shelf. But I loved it, guys. It was such a good graphic novel. And in the fourth one, the characters also deal a lot more with mental health, and they dive deeper into that subject material, which is really like, I think that's good because I think people need to like see that in a visual format and understand how it affects different people in different relationships and things like that. So yeah, it wasn't just all lovey-dovey in this one. They definitely like broke it down and got into deeper topics. So that was really cool, and I did really enjoy just diving back into the world of Heartstopper because I love Nick and Charlie. Those are just like two characters that I adore, and I'm really excited to see the Netflix adaptation of it. I think it's going to be so good, and I know I already have like so many expectations for it, but I've just been seeing like Alice Oseman share updates on her Instagram about it, and it's just getting me more and more excited. So I can't wait to see that when it comes out. Then I read this one. I don't know if it was actually on my TBR at all, but I read Pumpkinheads because I wanted a little graphic novel break. This was actually the first book I read in February because I was just finishing up my January TBR, and so I wanted like a graphic novel break in between. So I jumped into Pumpkinheads, and this was so cute. I literally read this in one day. It's not a long comic book, but it's just, oh, it was so adorable. It's just following two characters who work at a pumpkin patch together, and the one boy has a crush on another girl at the pumpkin patch, and his best friend is helping him like get to see this girl because this is their last summer at the patch, and so he wants to finally go tell her that he has a crush on her. And so the two of them make it their mission to make this happen on their last shift together. And these two always work like a certain area of the park, but there's like a whole different like there's a whole map actually in the front of this that shows you all the different places at this pumpkin patch and like the different things you can do. This is definitely amazing for like autumnal vibes if you want to feel those kind of feelings. I was definitely like reading this and getting excited and thinking about like the pumpkin patch back home and wanting to go like do those like spooky Halloweeny things. And oh yeah, it was a really fun time reading through this, and it's also a very fast read. Then I read Sir Blunder, and so this was the book that was pulled from my TBR jar. This is a middle grade, but like I don't know if it's a middle grade because it says that it's a bedtime story for big people. So I feel like it's like a middle grade, but like also an adult book with like middle grade themes, because some of the like material that it went into was more like adult, but like very mild. So I would say that. And also like the names in this book were ridiculous. Like one of the main characters is named Sir Pee-Pee. And I just like, I'm like choking from laughing on it, but like I just can't. I don't know. The characters just got more ridiculous and ridiculous. And their names were just like so like bluntly obvious, like a middle grade book would have names. I'll see if I can find another example. Okay, so then there's another guy called Sir One Eye because he has one eye. Yeah, overall, there's just like a bunch of characters that just have interesting names. So in this one, it's about a character named Sir Blunder. They start off as a child and grow up, and it's their journey to try and slay this dragon to save a princess because this princess is like cursed, and the only way to break this curse is to slay the dragon. And so it's the story of that. It was an all right book. Oh, I didn't even say ratings for any of the books at the beginning. Okay, Heartstopper, 5 stars. Pumpkinheads, I would probably give 4 stars. This book, I would say it was like a 3 stars. It was a very average read. Nothing like too exciting about it, but also nothing like bad about it either. So yeah, just a very in the middle book. Then I read the second part of the Valentine's gift that Marcus gave me, and that was Jonesy. This is literally just like a picture book, and it's following the life of Jonesy the cat throughout the like movie of the first Alien movie. And so it's just really fun to see like Jonesy's perspective while everything's happening in the ship and things are going on, and like Jonesy's just like doing his own thing, exploring the ship. And yeah, it's just a really cute like book. I don't know. There's not even really like, I think it's literally just pictures. Yeah, there's no even like text or anything to actually read in this. This is like a purely visual graphic novel of just graphics. And you just follow along with the cat and see what they do. And yeah, it's a pretty fun time. I am very excited to now have this as like a keepsake on my shelf. Then I read Pulse by B.A. Bellick. And so this book, oh, Jonesy. I'm doing so bad with ratings today, guys. Okay, Jonesy I would give 5 stars because it was just like the cutest thing. And Alien is one of my favorite sci-fi series of all time. So yeah, that one's 5 stars. Then I read Pulse by B.A. Bellick. And so this is like a mixture of like dystopian horror and like sci-fi elements to it. And so this is following, well, it's following a bunch of different perspectives. Like it's split up into a lot of perspectives as it goes, but it's essentially, there's like this big concert thing happening, and it's put on by this really big corporation called Pulse, who kind of like, they like own everything. So yeah, and they're really bad. This company's really bad for the environment. And so there's like another group of people who are like environmentalists trying to save the environment. So they're kind of like anti-Pulse. And so the culmination of this book all happens at this concert that people go to. And then there's some mysterious elements with things that are also happening at the concert, which I can't really reveal. But yeah, I will say that it does get pretty gruesome in this book. Like I understand why it's kind of labeled as a horror, because there's definitely some gruesome scenes in this book. And I would say don't get attached to characters because you never know what's going to happen to them. This is also only book 1. This is going to be a series, so there's going to be more to come. He also sent this to me with companion like coffee packets, which I have not tried yet, but I have to dive into those because I love coffee. But yeah, it was hard to really find like a specific character I liked because the perspective switched so much. So I don't really know like which one I would say was my favorite, but it was definitely an action-packed book, and it definitely gave me like the heebie-jeebies with some parts of the book where I was like, ooh, I would not want to be in this situation that this character's in. So yeah. But overall, I would say it was pretty decent. I would probably give this a 3.5. I think it was good enough to like keep me invested into following along with the storyline to see what happened with all the different characters. And I would read the next book because there were some leftover questions that I had by the end, and I want to know what's going to happen with these certain things. So I would be intrigued to read more. I also really did like the take where they were like trying to save the environment too, because I think that's like a very real thing that we're pulling from like current day. And it's important. Like we need to protect the earth that we live on, because otherwise we're going to run it into the ground, and it's going to be bad for everybody if we don't protect the environment. So I did like that. That was kind of like an underlying thing throughout the entire book. Then next up, I read The X Talk, and this was for my Once Upon a Book Club reading vlog that I did for like a whole weekend reading vlog, I believe. And yeah, I really liked this book. I gave this book, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. I had a lot of fun with this. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did because I don't read that many romance books, but this one was so much fun. And I really liked the radio aspect to it, because I think that that's definitely not like a normal thing to do in like the romance genre. Essentially, this book is following 2 characters who work at the same radio station, and they put on this show to get like kind of more ratings, where they pretend to be exes and they're giving people like relationship advice and stuff like that, but they're not actually exes. So they're like lying to the public in order to kind of like revive the radio station and get the ratings back up. And so it starts working and people are loving their show. And so it's kind of them having to go through the process of lying to the public, but also maybe starting to have feelings for each other and so on. So I did this with the pairing of the Once Upon a Book Club thing. And with those book boxes, they give you different like items within the book box that have page numbers, and you'll go check out those. You'll open them kind of like gifts when you get to that page number, and there will be like little post-it notes inside the book. So it makes it really immersive, and it actually like feels like you're a character in this book, which is really cool. So I had a really fun time with this one, and I think that this box actually had a lot of useful items in it. Like I got a cup, a drinking cup, but it had like a funny reading slogan on it. I can't remember it right now, but it was very fitting. You got headphones, I got some bath bombs and a bracelet. So like you get cool items with it, and they're like directly applicable to the book, which is really fun too. Cause like as you're reading the book, you're trying to like figure out what the items are going to be. So it's also kind of like a game that you're playing. But yeah, back to the book. Like I did feel like the book was really well done. I thought that the drama between the two was drawn out very well, and there was like lots of anticipation and like yearning for each other and things like that. So I was like, okay, I'm liking this, I'm digging it. I think the romance was done really well. I also really enjoyed how they dealt with like misogyny in the workplace. I thought that was really well done, and I like applauded the main character for different things that they did to like combat this, because that's definitely like a real world issue, and it was really nice to see some sort of like resolution coming out of it, and seeing a character kind of like know their worth and just fight back against it, if that makes sense. So yeah, no, it was really cool. I did really enjoy reading this book. I flew through it. Like I read it so fast. Normally it takes me longer than a weekend to read a book. So yeah, that tells you something. And then the last book I read in February, and this was for the Fays and Gays book club. We did not do the live stream of it yet. It was supposed to be this past weekend, but it had to be postponed, so it's coming soon. That book was Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon. So this book, I think I would give it a 3.5. It was very intense, but I did find that there were like a lot of lulls in the middle of the book that kind of dragged on a bit. But essentially, this is following a main character who escapes a cult at the very beginning of the book and kind of like lives in nature and goes from there and deals with like internalized things that are like pressuring them because of the cult that they grew up in and the ideologies that they thought were like the norm. It's kind of them like figuring out how to live life after escaping this place, and yeah, just trying to like get through day to day. There is a really cool twist in this book that, well, I wouldn't say it's a twist, but there's a really cool element to it that definitely brought me back, got me more interested in it. And so I would say there's that. But yeah, I don't want to go too much into it because like that live show, we're going to like really break it down and like dive deep into our thoughts about it. I will say that the cover is stunning. I really like this cover, and it's definitely applicable to like parts that were happening in the book. So I thought that was really cool. Like I love when you're reading a book and things happen and then you look back at the cover and you're like, oh, that's why that's happening on the cover, and that's why like the artist did it in this like visual way. I love when you like make those connections when you're like halfway through a book. I just think it's such a cool like revelation. But yeah, I won't dive too much into it now because we're going to be doing that live show where we'll talk about it a lot more. So if you guys are interested in like my full thoughts on this, as well as my other co-hosts, keep an eye out on Twitter. We'll be updating when we're going to be doing the live show for this. And those are all the books that I read in February. Let me know if you guys have read any of those books that I read and if you liked them or disliked them. Also, let me know what your favorite read was in February because I'm always interested to find out what everybody else is reading and what they're enjoying. Anyways, if you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Coffee page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as a link to buy my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.